Good morning. Happy March 3rd, 2025. I'm Laura. I'm your host. Appreciate you coming to listen to this, no matter where you are and what you're doing. Take a deep breath. Let's ground in. Today is kind of easy breezy. It's just going to be a thought-provoking episode where I walk you through some of my sort of spiritual philosophy. And I'll give the caveat that I don't know that I'm right about any of this. What I do know is today, 9:40 a.m., March 3rd, 2025, these feel true based on my experience and based on my own questioning. But one of my big asks as you start to join this journey with me is that you spend a little bit of time figuring out, does that feel true? Does that feel accurate? Is that something I want to embody and take on? Because it's easy for us to just go through life with things being flung at us and feeling like we're at the mercy of a very fast moving world. But taking the time to really evaluate, what do I think? How do I feel about this? Does this seem accurate to me? If it doesn't seem accurate to me, can I still see why someone might feel that way? And that, I think, is a time and a place where our collective energy is really being asked to take a second to reevaluate. Is it something that you can understand and see why someone would have gotten to that conclusion? Or is it something that you're adamantly, vehemently against and want to like go to fisticuffs about? Now, this particular episode is not about politics, but you could probably take some of what this is and put it to sort of modern day, what is happening in the space around us. So take a deep breath. Let's drop in. Well, I talk about some of the ways in which I believe we are as humans and as spiritual beings. So I do believe we are a spiritual being having a human experience. We are, as our soul evolves, we sort of take on missions where we are learning things and lessons, learning communication, and learning all of the sort of gamut of human emotions, which is pain, anger, happiness, joy, beauty, all of those things that feels like just part of what we signed up for. And you might have heard people talk about karmic lessons. I do believe this is sort of a training ground for our souls, for evolution, for us to be better at having an entire collective of experiences that we can draw upon. So many of us are here for many different reasons. I think everybody does have a soul's purpose. But one of those things is to learn your energy, your emotions, as well as your alignment. So, universe is in co-creation with us. I believe that to be true. I believe you are getting what you signed up for when you're energetically aligned to have it. So, some people are not energetically aligned to have certain things, even though that's what they came here wanting. And some of that is learning the negotiation of like, what is the right time and what pieces and parts have to be in play in order for that to happen. I think I don't like it, but I do think some of us are here for various different kinds of lessons. And those lessons are very human. I mean, for me, one of mine definitely was how easy, I'm going to put in quotes, easy it was for me to accept just sort of like any amount of love and think that that was as good as it could get, instead of, for a long time, being a stand for how I wanted to be loved and ways I wanted to be loved and to the breadth and depth that I wanted to be loved. So that is a lesson that I came here to learn, and I learned. So sometimes the delays and the redirections are just because it's not something for you, or it's not the right time, or the other pieces and parts aren't there yet. And the integration of learning how to be that person where you are exactly as you are, that's a big thing. It's hard for us to imagine that everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. That feels very true. March 3rd, 2025. because I don't want it to be true that there are groups of people that think that other people aren't worth having their basic needs met, having food and shelter and jobs that pay all their bills. Um, just like I'm not really ready to like be okay with part of some people's path is childhood cancer that affects and ripples, their entire communities. But if we take a step out and really look at everything, I can see why we need people, everyone, to really be able to see the depth and scope of the human emotions. And that means everything from the very low to the very high. So again, try these things on, see if you like them, see if you don't like them, but it's going to give you some context for the upcoming episodes as I go through sort of how we got to where we are and how part of my work here is going to be to bring a group of people to a new space, to where they are co-creating with the universe, instead of too easily feeling like the universe is thrusting everything upon them and they aren't actually a part of the process. So we do have soul contracts, I believe, and we do have free will. So we have set ourselves up to have certain experience and lessons like we talked about this time around. But we also have free will. And there is at any given moment a various amount of paths that we can choose and decisions that we can make, and none of them are necessarily bad or wrong. Some of them are out of alignment, and we'll talk about that for a second. This happens a lot when people really start to see themselves as part of a collective energy and part of a collective being as they start to hear the word alignment. And they want to know if they're in alignment or out of alignment and if they're making the right choices. And I think one of the best ways to start to feel that is to really lean into your intuition, into your gifts. If it gives you joy and if it is in a stand for what you want in the world and you are not second guessing yourself, you're not making yourself smaller, you're not making yourself wrong, chances are it's in alignment. It's when you start to say, let's take my love example. This person loves me just enough for me to get by. And I don't know that anyone's going to come on along and love me more. So I should be grateful for what I have. That's like, that's not real. That's not standing in your power. That's not believing that everything that you can have and want is going to be great and grand and giant. Okay. So I do believe we have a spirit team, and those are your spirit guides and your ancestors and your higher self. And those are all different things for different people. Generally, most people have 3 spirit guides, and they all sort of have different roles. So they don't like merge, right? There's not like all 3 of them aren't working on your career with you. And their presence gets stronger based off of what it is you're going through. They're sometimes sitting in the background because what's happening in your life right now is not interesting to them, or they also have other things to do. I'm pretty sure that they have very busy schedules. So your ancestors are not your spirit team, and some people do think spirit guides are, I'm sorry, let me say that again. Your entire spirit team includes your ancestors and your spirit guides, but they do not overlap. I think that's true. It doesn't matter to me if you do or don't think it's true. Your ancestors are also soul contracts and soul connections, many of which you've had many, many lifetimes with, though it could be in different relationships to each other. And they're there to sometimes to help guide you, to help you get through things, but sometimes I think a lot of their role is just to like remember that they're on your side, just to like send you little blips of don't forget. And I do believe you can at any time stop what you're doing and sit down and have a conversation with them and ask them to show you their love. Ask them to remind you tomorrow if you're really upset during a conversation you're going to have. Ask them to remind you to stay present in the emotions. So you can ask of your ancestors and your guides whatever it is you think that they could be helping with. They most likely will. If it's something trivial or weird and it's not their purview, like they might not. I know a lot of people like to set up sort of systems of yeses and nos or confirmations of what their nudges mean. Well, we can go into that in another episode. So the other person in your spirit team is your higher self. Now, I don't think time is real. And I have many examples of why I don't think time is real. And you exist as a soul in multiple places at multiple times. And your higher self is one of the people helping you along the path where you can call them in to get clarity. You can do things in partnership with them to help make you feel like you are reaching a vibrational that you're trying to. So if you think of your higher self as sort of your North Star, they are helping you get towards how can you live your fullest, best, most loving, most happy, most everything life. That's you, guiding you. I'm excited to talk more about this. Okay, you do have intuition. I know people talk about it in like a woman's intuition, but you also have spent however many years you've been on this planet being told to not trust your gut, to use your brain to think through it, that the logical answer is the right answer, that the societal accepted way to do things is the right way. A lot of that is just absolute malarkey because your synchronicities and gut feelings and universal signs and birds and animals and songs you hear and lyrics, all of those are not coincidences. Those are orchestrated. They're here for your guidance, and learning how to trust those and accept them and acknowledge them starts to really unlock a deeper spiritual practice and being and opening and all sorts of things. Okay, you are never, ever alone. No matter what you think. You are divinely supported. You are part of this great big collective, and your energy is important. Where you go, who you meet, who you interact with is all part of the human experience. So if you're starting to delve into this world, there's a lot more we can talk about, and we will over the next coming weeks. I ask that you take some things on for how do you think that it's true? Or where does it show up in your life in a way that makes you feel good? So there are 3 things that I'm going to ask you to start to look at that can help you feel like you're starting to own yourself and your authenticity, and that you are more connected and powerful than you maybe had previously thought you were. So your energy is your superpower, and you have control to raise it. Raising your frequency is like a lifelong practice, and it's getting back to the root of the things that bring you joy. Taking a walk outside, sitting and reading a book in the sun, eating a really good steak dinner while listening to Taylor Swift. Whatever it is, where can you start to have those millisecond of moments as many times in a day as you can? Think music, think smell, think feel, think touch, think joy, think experiences. Where can you raise your vibration? If you're already someone who sees synchronicities, spirit signs, repeating numbers, angel numbers, you are uniquely connected to messages on license plates, whatever it is, If you haven't already started to make it a practice to acknowledge and thank them, start. And if you're seeing crows at about the same time every day, or you're out somewhere and 444 rolls by, take half a second to thank them. And then also think about, what were you just thinking about? What was just happening? Where are you? So you can just start to be in the ebb and flow of seeing around you what's pinging, what's coming to your awareness. And then my third ask is that you start to think about the ways in which you're giving your power away. And those can be small, but repetitive can make them really big. So if you're someone that negatively talks to yourself, I want you the next time it comes up where you say, God, I'm so stupid. Take a second. Do you actually believe that thought? Really, truly, whatever it was. You're dumb, you're stupid, you're mean, that was really rude. Any negative thought about yourself, or even just like snarky. Do you actually believe that? If you do, what evidence do you have? Is that evidence based off of someone else's told you? Someone else said those things to you? If you truly, truly can sit down and say to me, yeah, I am really stupid. I do really stupid things. I'm going to be like, did you do the best that you could in the circumstances with the knowledge that you had? Because most likely, yes, friend. So when you start to hear how often you're having a limiting belief, that can show up as negative self-talk. That can show up as, I'll never have the things that I want. That can show up as, oh, I guess it is what it is. Any of those places. Start to really take a second and see, ask the question, just notice, do I really believe this? All right, my friends, those are some things that I believe. I'm interested to hear what you think and what you believe. More soon.